So I'd usually intro this as saying I'm Marius, 28-year-old marketing professional, and I'm building a Pokemon card business online. However, I thought I'd change this one up a bit. It's been a while since I gave you guys a proper update. It's also been a while since we talked about anything Pokemon related. A lot's changed for me personally. So I am a CMO by day. That's my day job. So obviously that's quite an intense, quite a busy role. And I started that best part a couple months ago now. So it's been a very busy time. When I was really hammering like the whatnot streams and stuff, I had a couple of weeks off in between jobs, which allowed me the freedom to go at that, which was obviously great fun. That coupled with traveling for work and then also being sick for a period of time as well. It's been a really interesting few weeks, but we're kind of stabilising a bit now, getting used to how things are going to flow. I'm not sick anymore, which is obviously good. Travel, we're still going to be traveling probably once or twice a month, which is fine. Factor that into when I'm like shipping orders or planning whatnot streams or anything like that. But I guess a bit of an update as to where we're at with the quote unquote business. So I did actually get scammed, which is something which is like, I guess it's an inevitability given like Pokemon card selling and buying and everything like that. And I wanted to chat through it with you guys because like I feel I've been buying and selling things online since I can remember. I used to buy and sell games and cards, and I think we even used to sell our like Lord of the Rings Warhammer figures when we were like really young on eBay. So I've been selling on eBay for the best part of probably 20 years. I don't actually know the number, but it feels like the best part of 20 years. So I've got a relatively good idea and understanding of like how not to get scammed online. Like I've been there, I've been scammed plenty. This one Pokemon collection came up on Facebook Marketplace and it looked quite interesting. There was a couple of foreign cards in there, there was a few tag teams, it looked like there was a few alt arts as well, and it looked like it was at a price which was probably too cheap. So I checked out the woman's profile and she was selling a bunch of other stuff, just looked like someone who'd probably gone through and cleared out the house. There was like kids' toys, there was all sorts of stuff. So it looked like a fairly legit profile. The woman's name added up. Typically, the checks I do when I'm looking at somebody's Facebook profile, do they have an actual Facebook picture, like rather than a car or a cat or something like that? Has the profile existed for a number of years? I think this one had existed for 12 or 13 years. And then I look to make sure that they've got other things either for sale or they've got posts or they've got something else to build up a picture. So basically saying if somebody had posted that with no profile picture, they'd created the account in 2025, I wouldn't have purchased it in the first place. So the account looked legit. When I was communicating with the woman, it did seem strange. Her communications were, I don't know how to describe it other than my gut feeling was telling me this probably wasn't going to go well. And I would never pay bank transfer for something I buy over Facebook because for anyone who doesn't know, you can basically not get there's no way really to get your money back when you bank transfer on Facebook Marketplace. So the way I always do it is PayPal goods and services. I've always been very firm and strict on if they don't have PayPal, I'm not buying it. And on this occasion, I think I roughly estimated that I could probably make £300, £400 or £500 profit on the raw cards. If any were gradable, then more. So it looked like a fairly lucrative opportunity. So I took the punt and I bank transferred the money. She said she didn't have PayPal. I was like, look, I could probably do this 5 times over and still make money. And sure enough, I was bitten in the arse because of it. So yes, I did get scammed. I tried to bluff my way into saying I'd contacted the police and that everything else, but no, she just blocked me and everything. And I know it was this lady's name in particular because her bank details all matched up with the Facebook name. So it was a legit person, it was a legit bank account, she just scammed me. So fair enough, it is what it is, we all live and we learn. So for anyone who's new out there, PayPal goods and services only, it's really the only way to be protected. If what you're buying, the margins are so fine to where you can't justify putting the extra 5% on for goods and services, I'd question what you're buying more than anything else. But there's a lesson for you all. Right, then updates. So we're doing a lot of purchasing, and I'm going to include some clips at the end of this of some other stuff that I have been buying in the weeks that I haven't uploaded anything. So we bought some more Japanese cards. I actually bought even more Japanese cards from a UK seller, actually quite a reputable UK seller, but they all came damaged, so I'm not going to include those. And we also got some of these Unigaba packs, which I opened, and again, I'll include that at the end of this video. Those are for the personal collection, other than the ones that you'll see, there's a couple of duplicates. So we have been doing some buying, and we're in a really good place from a stock level. So we've got tons of singles. I'm talking probably like hundreds of raw singles. We've got tons of graded cards. So you guys would obviously see the last video that I uploaded, we got a PSA return, which was great. Don't get me wrong, we probably didn't do as well as I initially hoped, but ultimately to get cards back now is great. We've got stock. I actually have another PSA return coming back. It's just been shipped by PSA yesterday or today. So I'm hoping within the next few days we'll have another video. And based off of the grades that I've seen, because again, I've seen them all, we did better than the previous one in comparison to what I was expecting. So I think I always try to factor in what I call the 20% PSA bullshit clause. So you'll see, I'll run you through the spreadsheet that I produce when I go to grade cards, but I always anticipate grades, and then I take off 20% of the total estimated value, just because I think PSA will do you over in a couple. And that basically was true for the last one. However, this one actually is a lot closer. It's not 20% under. So really good there. We'll have that coming up soon. I am going to be returning to Whatnot. So there will be a new Whatnot stream. At the time that you're watching this, it will be tomorrow night. The time will be TBC. I think probably about 7 p.m. I'll kick things off. The weather has been outstanding in the UK, which is probably not optimal for running Whatnot streams. But there's not much else you can do about that. Got some cards to shift. So we'll have PSA giveaways, because again, we've got lots of stock back for PSA, which is amazing. So we've got opportunities there to do some giveaways. I'll load up the PSA cards in the Whatnot shop as well. If you guys are new to Whatnot, there'll be links in the description for either becoming a buyer or a seller. If you want to become a buyer, you can get £10 free credit, link in the description. If you want to become a seller, if you use the link in the description for that, you can get £150 matched. Which basically means that for your first £150 you sell, you get that matched. So I did that, and it was very useful. A really good way to be able to, you can afford to take a couple of L's in your first couple of streams, as long as you sell £150, and I think there's a minimum amount of orders you need to hit as well, then you get that match, which is great. So we're in a really good spot from that perspective. eBay, I'm just scrolling through it just now. We have been making some sales. We've sold some singles. We've sold some slabs. Mostly singles, I would say, of late. We were selling some more slabs probably last month, which is very interesting. Again, I think the market is softening, and I suppose I could probably make a separate video entirely on that, but just as a sort of very brief overview of where I see the market at the moment, it's very reminiscent of COVID. So if anybody wasn't around during the COVID time, I was buying and selling back then as well. So 2019, 2020, 2021, I was very active in the market, probably 22 as well, actually. Basically what happened was everybody started submitting to PSA. PSA created this big backlog. Everybody got their cards back after a long period of time. And then it was a sort of race to the bottom, because a lot of people who then either had moved on to different stuff, or arguably like myself at the time, I wanted the money to put into something else. Or they had over-leveraged potentially credit cards, or they'd over-leveraged something to the point where they needed the money. And I think what you're starting to see now is when people are getting their submissions back, or there's maybe people who are starting to see their values go down in their cars, are like, oh, well, I don't want to realise this value decreasing, so let's list it and try to sell it. But what's happening then is you've got 5, 10, 15 people listing a card to where there was maybe only 2 or 3 listed previously, and then everybody's trying to undercut each other, which is great for the buyer within me. Obviously for the seller it becomes more challenging, but ultimately I'm not stressed about it. I think it's a good thing. If anything, I'd love to be able to go and buy some of the cards that I want for the PC, and hopefully if this does cause the market to drop, then I'll be able to do so. What I do think though is I do think there will be probably the next 6-7 months, I would imagine a drop. I think that the Destined Rivals Journey Together sort of bubble probably burnt a lot of people out. But I do think because next year's the 30th anniversary, I cannot see any way where that doesn't start to tick up again. So for me, again, I'm in no rush. I'm playing the long game. I'm quite happy. If things do take a dip, I'll continue buying, and then I'll just wait for things to take another uptick, which I'm pretty certain they will. Not financial advice. So yeah, I want to try and get back into making a YouTube video probably once or twice a week. I think that's fairly achievable, and probably get back into a Whatnot stream once a week. Again, I think that's fairly achievable. And then I'm just going to let eBay tick away on its own. selling graded cards on eBay is such little effort. I mean, literally, the PSA scans are so good now. PSA grade the cards, I take the PSA scan, I upload it to eBay, it sells, and I go to the local post office to ship it. Like, it's not a stress at all. The challenge that we've got now is I would estimate probably 300 or 400 cards that I could grade that I think are PSA 10 worthy. And PSA aren't accepting submissions because of the whole Trump fiasco. I know that you can go through a middleman, but I don't really want to do that because it costs more money, obviously. That cuts into the margins, or it just increases the costs. I would like to submit with Ace, but again, they're not open, and I'm not paying the £25 service because ultimately, why would I? I don't think anybody really wants to pay 25 quid a card to grade them. But if Ace reopen their lowest submission level, then I will certainly try out Ace. Would really like to do that. I sold one Ace card that I bought from that collection, that Zekrom. It had perfect 10s, and actually it sold for more than the recent PSA 10 sales. So, and it had the Ace label. So fairly interested in Ace and seeing what that could do. But the whole Trump PSA fiasco is certainly it's certainly put a roadblock in the plans. We've still got, after these cards come back from PSA, I've still got another 155 there. They're estimated now to come back in June, or the end of June, I think. So we'll have a bit of a gap before we have any more graded card returns, which again is fine. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the stream on Whatnot. I'm now going to cut to the clips of me getting those cards. If you are new, then please do subscribe to the channel, drop this video a like, let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be joining the Whatnot, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Right, I've got a bit of a different one for you today. It's actually a bit of a personal collection purchase. So I don't know if you guys know what these are, but these are the Unigaba packs. Now let me just make sure I've got them all. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 10. Okay, so yeah, for those of you who don't know what these are, these each contain one pack, and I believe they were given away for free originally in Japan. They're Japanese exclusive Unigaba cards. There are 9 in the main set, and then there's like a even more limited edition Pikachu. So the plan with these is I've got 10 of them. I mean, best case scenario is we get all 9 individual cards. Worst case scenario is we get like 7 of the cheapest one and none of the other ones. If we were to get multiples of one, it would rather be at the Umbreon. But like I said, plans for this is to be graded and be part of the personal collection. So a bit of a different one. I'm going to cut all these open with scissors now, and then I'll open them on camera for you, but I want to be a bit careful because they were not cheap. Actually, for anybody who doesn't know, I bought these off of Amir Collects, I think his tag is. You might have seen him on YouTube. He goes to Japan and spends a lot of money on cardboard. But he gave me a pretty good deal on these, to be fair. I think market's about £50 a pack, and he was charging 40, so not bad at all. I'm going to open these now and see what we get. Right, I have opened them very, very carefully. What I'm probably going to do is I'll slide these out and put sleeves on them. But like I said, ideally we'd get 9 individuals and a duplicate of the Umbreon. Realistically, that's never going to happen. So let's see what we get in pack number 1. Need to open these very carefully. Okay, number 1 we get the Flareon, which looks good. I'd say centering looks pretty good all round, so we like that. I'll obviously inspect these in quite a lot of detail afterwards. My hand's shaking because I'm just back from the gym, in case it looks like it is shaking. It definitely is. It's not to do with how nervous I am because of the cards. It's got absolutely nothing to do with that. Nice. We've got the Umbreon up next. Very good so far. 2 different cards. We love to see that, and we obviously love to see the Umbreon. That is the most expensive out the 9. So let's see, can we continue with different cards? We can't, but like I said, if I'm going to get duplicates, I'd rather it be the Umbreon. So we did say we wanted 2 Umbreons and then 9 different cards. So let's see, what else are we going to get? Because obviously if I get lots of duplicates, okay, that's not ideal, but it's what it is. If I get lots of duplicates and they all grade 10s, I can sell the duplicates and buy the ones I'm missing. So I'm not too upset about duplicates. The odds of it happening were high. Nice, something different. We get the Glaceon. Again, it actually looks really good centering wise, which is great to see. They, obviously again, modern Japanese, you do expect them to get 10s. Anything less than a 10 is disappointing, but I've seen plenty of people on eBay with 9s, so it definitely can happen. I guess that these are fairly flimsy. We've got the Eevee, very nice. So you can see these are very different styles of cards. The artwork is super unique, which is why I wanted to add them to the collection. And you could have just gone onto eBay and bought the full set of PSA 10, but where's the fun in that? It's also more expensive, obviously. Oh, we've got another Flareon, right? Okay, that's disappointing. That's probably not, I don't know what one's the cheapest, but I wouldn't imagine Flareon's the most, like one of the more expensive ones. That's fine. Hopefully then we at least get one Flareon 10. Nice, we got the Leafeon. Sick. I mean, ideally, I think Vaporeon will probably be one of the cheaper ones. So ideally, I would like to see that we get Espeon and Sylveon as the last two. Can we do it? No, we got another Flareon. 4 Flareons. Okay, is what it is. Can we get one of the Espeon or Sylveon in the last card? Let's see. Come on, give us some pink. Nice. Okay, we got one. Very nice. Great. So I'll go through. You guys will see these again when I go to the next grading video. I'll go through, have another look at these, make sure they're all good. But we got one Espeon, we got the 4 Flareons, 2 Umbreons, and then we got one Eevee, one Leafeon, one Glaceon. So we're just missing the Vaporeon, the Jolteon, and the Sylveon. So not too bad at all. Should I open it or should I keep it sealed? No, we bought some more Japanese cardboard today. I have got a significant amount of Japanese cardboard already sitting, waiting to be graded. If or when PSA sort out their life with direct submissions. I could go through one of the middlemen, but I don't really want to because it's A, going to take longer, and B, going to cost more money. So we've got a bunch of stuff which I felt was just sitting a bit undervalued on from Japan. I'm going to run through some of it and we'll see what you guys think. What have we got? Oh well, he's included a freebie. That's lovely of him. I don't think I purchased that. I don't think I'll be grading it, but nonetheless, very nice. Thank you very much. So, starting off, we've got some of the Laprases. I thought I bought 5. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Nonetheless, I thought I bought 5. Apparently not. We'll see if there's another one later in the pile. We've apparently bought 4 of these Laprases, which are the equivalent of, I think it's V-Star Universe, which is the equivalent of Crown Zenith. The Lapras in English is a really strong contender in a 10. And I just felt that it, like, sort of, what were these? Maybe like $5 each, maybe something about that. So sort of £3 to £4. I just felt these were probably just a bit undervalued. Hoping that they're all going to be minty. I'm hoping that is on the sleeve. It does appear that it's on the sleeve. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, nice. Hopefully these are all minty and gradable. That's what we would ideally like to see. So we've got some of those. I've got more of these horses, which I did buy, I can't remember in the last buying Japanese cardboard video or the one before that, I'm not entirely sure. But again, I just think it's really strong artwork. It's giving like 151 vibes. I'll go through and check condition afterwards, but he's usually pretty good, this seller, so fingers crossed. It did only take a couple of weeks, so we've got some of those. And if you guys are wondering why I've ordered such a specific amount of each card, it was to get it under the import fee cost. So if you're under £135, you don't need to pay import fees. So where I can, I'll do that. Sometimes it's worth ordering in bulk and paying the import fee, sometimes it's not. We've got a few of these Salamon's EX Full Arts. Again, I'm just picking up things. I know this card isn't very expensive in English, but I just think that, I think the Japanese is actually better looking. I just think long term, it's a pink Full Art Salamon's. I can't see this not doing well. So we're hoping for at least a couple of these to be gradable, but these were maybe around that $4 or $5 mark as well. I can't remember how much the horses were. I would imagine probably pretty similar. A very cheap one here. I think these, I did buy 5. Same situation. I think this is called V-Star Universe in Japanese. It's the Nummel from Crown Zenith, which is what we have in English. It's a particularly strong one because it's actually Ditto, so it's not a Nummel at all, it's a Ditto, which is why it's got the kind of weird face. And I just think it's one that will do well longer term. It's another one that's pretty punchy in an English 10, so I can only see the Japanese doing well over time. I know the market's softening a bit now for some cards, but actually V-Star Universe and Crown Zenith seem to be doing pretty well, regardless of the market. Just an exact same situation, another one which was just too cheap to pass up on. You're talking about the hit from a booster box of Japanese 151, and I think these were $5 or $6 each. So hopefully, again, these are gradable, but you could spend £120 on a Japanese 151 booster box and this be your best card. Well, best card in terms of rarity. You could get more expensive art rares. That one's got a ding top left. Wait, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, I'll need to go through these in detail. That I'll need to message him about that. That's a defect. But anyway, maybe that's why the price is so affordable. Yeah, no, the card in the market is not far off that price, so very, very good price for that one. And whether, again, I grade them or keep them, I'm not too precious. Same situation here, except for an even cheaper card. I want to say these were like $3.50. They were really, really, really cheap. And don't get me wrong, I think I sold a PSA 10 of this for 30 quid. Or maybe both of them for 30 quid, something like that, £27.50. So it wasn't an expensive card in a 10, but it's too cheap. Whether I keep them in the binder for months or years, or whether I grade some of them, or whether I whatnot them, I'm not sure. But just too cheap. And last but not least, we've got some Houndours. So it does look like I only bought 4 of the Lapras, very random. The Houndours, sorry. I felt like, again, really strong artwork, probably in that $3-ish range, maybe $4. I don't remember exactly what I paid for them, but I felt with the Team Rocket stuff coming up, or at this point of recording this, the Japanese Glory of Team Rocket is out, the English stuff isn't, that I felt like that's got Team Rocket's Houndoom in it, and it just seemed like too good an opportunity to pass up on buying some more of these. I don't know if I'll ever buy more of them, like maybe the raw price will go up, maybe it won't, but either way, just some more nice cards to add to the binder, add to the grading pile, add to the whatnot pile, wherever they go, and then thanks to the seller for including a nice little shiny.